All right, let's begin. So I want to welcome everybody to our 10th Lecturers Roundup. And I did hear from Eileen that she's from Wallingford. She's going to try to come on board. And I know Judy Doyle is down in Branford. She had a book walk today with a bunch of authors. So she didn't know if she was going to make it, but it's great to see those that did make it. And our agenda for tonight, what we hope to talk about, doing the brief welcome. I think we all know each other, and but it's great to see you all out there. And I hope if at any time you have any questions, you'll let me know. One of the things I wanted to just last month, we had last time we met, we had Joan Smith come on and talk about reaching rural surgical seniors, which is a national program to help provide resources to loved ones in the rural section of the country. There were some incentive opportunities, and Joan has told me that Connecticut is the first state that qualified for the state Grange incentive payment. So when Rob Buck and I are in Iowa, Rob will be presented with a $500 check to Connecticut State Grange for accomplishing this. But I wanted to just remind all of you about it because there's a number of things, and should you choose to share information with your community, each community Grange qualifies for $100. And for community Granges, I believe it's 150 can qualify for it. So also, as the Northeast region point of contact for this program, there's been a number of materials developed for it. We can provide speakers for community programs, Grange programs, forums. There's a lot of information on the website, and here is the two websites. We originally had the first, and then when they published the guides and I was proofing them, I noticed it had the wrong title. So we purchased both websites. And so it's both Senior Surgery Guides and SeniorSurgicalGuides.com. But there's a wealth of stuff out there, stuff that you can print. But why I'm bringing this up, particularly for lecturers, here is the state Grange, and so we were the first to qualify for the $500. And what we had to do was host an RRSS event, and we got credit for doing this on our last roundup. You have to publish material. We did not do that one 6 times yet, but we did publish on social media and Facebook in particular, and you had to track and send in a screenshot of it, and if you got likes or anything like that, because again, I know Mr. Miller loves this. National keeps stats on all this stuff to win future contracts. You can do a display also, and you can incorporate it into a state convention. We are incorporating this into our Northeast Lecturers Convention that is coming up in June that we're going to talk about in a minute. So there are 2 times a year, April and October, to document this. And all you do is send an email, basically, or fill out a form that's online and just tell them what you have done. All you have to do is 3 of them. And if you do, you then will earn an incentive. Yeah, so it's 250 community Granges could qualify for $100 each. So as I've tried telling lecturers that I've talked to, it's a great way to get some money for lecturers if your community Grange or your even Pomona Grange, wants to participate and they agree that the money should come to you to do some activities. Again, both Granby Grange and Riverton Grange have qualified. They were Grange number 1 and 2 to qualify. Both Granges did one of the lecturer programs was on this program. We conducted for Riverton Grange, we conducted a public forum at the Barkhamsted Senior Center. And for Granby Grange, we conducted a public forum at Stony Hill Village Affordable Housing. Then you can do some other things, but again, you report this. It's in May and October, and all you do is email at that address, and you only have to do 3 of these things to qualify. And again, Rob has said he will collect the checks for any Connecticut Granges if you're not planning to be in Bettendorf. And again, here's the contacts for this. And so if you have any questions on that, I think it's a great way, one, to get some really good information out on people that are anticipating surgery. From the Barkhamsted one that we did, we actually had 2 people that were getting ready to go into the hospital, and we just gave them a pamphlet. And Nan Schleich was one of them that we're hoping to recruit to our Grange. She went in for a pacemaker a week ago. She's already up and around, and for her mid-80s, she's doing great. So just a great way to share information. So questions? No questions. You're all going to do it, right? No response, Noel.
Sorry, I was on mute.
I got a question. Well, go ahead,
Sure.
Bob.
No. Go ahead. No.
Okay. Yeah, could you go back to the slide and to the who's sponsoring it?
Oh, sure. So this is by PCORI. PCORI is the Patient-Centered Outcomes Research Institute, which is a new federal agency. So their job is, it was created during the Bush and then Obama administration to promote research around patient-centered healthcare, which was kind of a new buzzword during that time. So this is a federal agency that awards grants to different entities. Okay?
Okay. It's so close to the Research Institute from Eugene, Washington, that did the broadband at the Big E.
Yep.
Okay. Dad's got, sorry, Noel's got red flags flying.
Yep. No problem. No problem. And
Thank you.
speaking of that program, they did cut back the incentive payments. They were 100 a Grange. They cut back to 25 a Grange because both Granby and Riverton got 25 each. And then they just stopped them. It was in last week's patrons chain that there are no more affordable connectivity program grant payments. They ran out of money.
Right. The program ran out of money.
Yep.
Hey,
Okay.
Dave, let me point out something about the short time frame that you have between between June and September or October, is that Nutmeg Pomona cannot have a regular literary program until Christmas, because we have election of officers in June, we have installation of officers in September, and the next meeting after that is in December.
Right. So what you could do, Bob, is to get more lecturers from your Pomona to participate in something like this. They could participate in the lecturers thing. Joan is being very flexible on how we're disseminating information. So it doesn't have to specifically be like my Pomona Mountain Laurel. It doesn't have to be one of Debbie Vale's specific programs if that doesn't fit the calendar. You can come up with a Zoom meeting, an in-person, whatever you want and how you want to do it. You just got to explain to that RRSS, which is Joan Smith, a pseudo or fake email to send to Joan. But you just got to explain to her really what you did, when you did it, how you did it, and how many people you touched. That's the most important thing. And so if you can keep track of like how many people, so like at my Grange meeting, we only touched 17 people at the Grange meeting, but when we did the senior center, we touched over 60 people, and then my Facebook posting got well over 100. So you can count like 100 plus 60 plus, the teens, and add those together. And what she's looking for is those numbers, because by the end of this contract, they have to have so many touches with people. But whether you like that or not, I really think that information itself is interesting. And since I work in the I don't work, I volunteer in the senior center world, I've found really positive stuff from the pamphlets that I've handed out to people. One of them is just like, particularly with the seniors, they get nervous when they're talking to their doctors. And some of these pamphlets have pre-asked questions. You can come up with your own, but they're asked questions that when we were putting this program together with a nurse, we kind of came up with questions that people might want to think about asking their doctor. But it was even above and beyond that. Part of it was, how are you going to get your home ready if you go in for surgery and come back home? Who's going to help you? Do you have pets? Do you have rugs? Do you have to get up and down steps? Do you know where to get durable medical equipment if you can't afford it? So there was just a lot of information depending on what their interests are.
I already went through all that 3.5 years ago. Thank you.
Anything else on this? But again, for lecturers, I think, again, I know for the two home Granges, Granby and Riverton, we're always trying to have money for lecturer programs. And in both these Granges, we agreed that if we qualified, once the checks came to those Granges, that money would go to Judy Doyle at Granby Grange and Renee Peterson at Riverton Grange to be used for lecturer program, stuff. So, so that's how we were promoting it in that area. Okay.
Dave, when are you going to have this information available to us so we can pass it along to the supporting Granges? Because at least for Cheshire, our lecturer does not come to the meetings. She puts together her programs and then she sends it to one of us.
Yep.
So it's going to have to be a package so I can send it to her.
I'll upload it for you, Bob. I've got it all put together in a zip file.
Excellent.
Okay, good. Anything else? But again, it's just, again, you don't have to participate if you don't want to, but it's an opportunity. And I know some of the time I hear from lecturers, they're looking for new, different things to do. And to me, I personally like this topic. All right, the next thing, our Northeast Lecturers Association Conference. And some of you on this Zoom have already registered, which I appreciate that. It's going to be June 21st to 23rd in Norwich. And let me see if I can open this. We practiced earlier. There's our website. And so it has all the information, the lodging. So $139 a night is our negotiated rate through the end of this month.
The website's not showing, Dave, just the.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me see. Okay. Stop share. Thank you. Thank you for telling me that. Share. And it's so beautiful. There we go. Now do you see it? There you go. Okay. So June 21st to the 23rd, so Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday. It's at the Holiday in Norwich, which we all know well. And you can register, and we have made it so we have heavily subsidized the meals, so hoping that people would come. So if you participate in all meals for 3 days, it's a total of $105. The rooms can be shared, and we've put together a great schedule. Let me just see, does that show up, Terry, if I click on that?
Yes.
Or do I need...
No, you're fine.
Okay, so this is the registration material. And so it's $30 if you register, and this is coming up tomorrow. I think she's got the numbers wrong. It's supposed to be the 21st. And for that, you'll get the tote bag, the program book, and each state is providing gifts to the tote bag. And then here are the meals. So we have the Saturday morning breakfast buffet, which is $10. Lunch is $10, and the Saturday night banquet is $45, and then the Sunday morning buffet is $10. And you can do online registration, you can do paper registration. Judy Doyle from Riverton and Granby Grange is the registrar for the conference. As I mentioned earlier, we have 26 registered. Oh, I lied, Terry. It's 8 from Connecticut, 6 from Massachusetts, 5 from Maine, 4 from Rhode Island, 2 from New York, 1 from Vermont, and none from New Hampshire. And but we think, a month out at 26 is pretty good, that people will, sign up as it gets closer and they start focusing on it. One of our lessons learned is scheduling a conference at this time of year near a holiday weekend in a touristy area is not a good idea. So it took us 2.5 months to negotiate a lot of these rates. So that has been a lesson learned for us, but it's been good. And then, does the schedule show up there, Terry? Okay,
Yep.
so we're kicking off on Friday night, and we're working on a community service project that we can do collectively to benefit something locally here in Connecticut. We're then going to have a number of activities, and it's really interesting. Of the 26 people that have signed up, not one wants the optional bus tour to Mohegan Sun. So I guess either we all go to bed or we're not into gambling. And then Saturday, we're still finalizing the agenda because a few of the speakers have time crunches, and so we're moving things around, but this is currently, so each state has taken responsibility. For example, Rhode Island is doing membership. Maine, Missy Baldwin is doing community service. So each one will be doing an activity. We're then scheduling the optional tour of the Coast Guard Academy. 80% of the people signed up so far have signed up for the optional tour. Debbie can't do it now for she won't be able to come for a health issue. So I'll be coordinating that. And I did want to go back to the top just for 1 second. On Saturday, our keynote speaker is Joan Smith from the National Grange Foundation. She'll be talking about not only Reaching Rural Surgical Senior, but she's going to be talking about the education grant, the deaf awareness grant, and any other foundation type activities folks want to hear from. So we're glad to have her come with us. Saturday night, we have the banquet and entertainment, and then Sunday morning after the buffet breakfast, we have some more workshops. And then New York State Grange lecturer is picking up the gavel. They'll be the next ones in the chute to host a lecturer's workshop. This is I think we've all agreed we have not had a lecturer's workshop now in 5 years. Is that correct, Terry?
Yeah, it was before COVID.
Yeah, so we think it's been 5 years. They planned them, but they just never occurred. And so it kept, if a state didn't do it, they skipped that state. That's how it ended up back with Connecticut, which I didn't think was fair. But it's been an interesting process, and it's been fun working with my fellow lecturers and seeing what each state does and how they do it. For example, Massachusetts has a new lecturer this year who took over from a longtime lecturer, and that's been interesting to watch from across the border here. So anyways, that's the lecturers conference. It's not just for lecturers, it's for anybody. So we're hoping that a lot of people would want to come here and be at it, and hopefully learn and have fun. For those that did go up to the Leaders Conference in New Hampshire, I think you all agree it was a fun event, and it was just nice getting back together again. And I know the state lecturers, a majority of us were there. We really enjoyed it. And that's where we laid out this conference for this year. So questions on that?
There is a link to the registration site off the State Grange website. It's right on the front page.
And it looks beautiful. Questions? Come on, Ramona, you must have a question. All right, I'm sharing my screen again, okay? All right, next, is my screen showing, Terry?
You're good.
Good, okay. Next, I just wanted to go over our lecturer contest for the year. One that I really want folks to focus on is our photo contest. And we do have both for Grangers in the two categories. So adults in one category, junior youth in one plus in the other category. For Bob and I, this is one of the things we talked about at the National Grange Lecturers Advisory Committee meeting the other day, what he's thinking about doing at the national level and why state contests don't jive, because some states are on different cycles. And but I'm hoping people will participate in this. But there is one piece of information that I just want to again share with everybody. Hillstown cannot host the State Grange Family Festival this year. So Dawn reached out to, of all Granges, Granby Grange. I was not anything to do with this, and Granby Grange has decided to host this event at their thing. So it predominantly is Sunday morning. So those up in this part of the state, you'll be happy you don't have to go to East Hartford. But for those from the southeastern corner of the state, it's a quite a haul. But Granby Grange is handicap accessible now, and but we will have the teacup auction, the pancake breakfast, we'll have the photo contest. So it should be a nice event. And again, Dawn Prokosky's family activities and my lecturers department will again go together on this event.
What
So
is the
that's
date?
It's August 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. So the 4th is the actual event. On the 2nd and the 3rd is when you can drop photos off, or anything for Dawn's activities you can drop off the night of the 2nd or the day of the 3rd. The judging will be on the 3rd. There's a deadline, and then the actual pancake breakfast and other activities, you know, it'd be like from 8 to noon, will be on Sunday, August 4th.
Thank you.
Okay. And I have not seen that anywhere else other than in emails for Dawn working with the master at Granby Grange, Philip
She's
Marshall.
not gotten me anything on it yet.
Yeah. So hopefully, you know, this is what she has told Philip, and so Granby Grange is planning on doing this activity.
I'll shoot a note off to Dawn because I need to get like picture or posters and stuff put together and all that. So
Okay.
I'll see what she's got for info.
Okay. And then let me just see, Terry, it helps to practice. Let me stop sharing, and then let me share screen. So these are from our beautiful State Grange page. These are all the programs this year. And I just want to remind all the subordinate and Pomona Granges about participating in these programs, because before we know it, we're going to be at state session. So we have the Lecturers Appreciation Award and activities you have to do, and then the Honor Lecturers Award. And I've actually found a really cool gift this year for the honors. It being the 100th anniversary of Peoples State Forest, which is where our Grange plaque is going to be installed. We've had some wooden cutting boards made up with the 100th anniversary logo on it. So we're hoping that is going to encourage some of our lecturers. I know Sue Pianca last night was kind of excited because she grew up in Peoples Forest. The bad thing about Sue, just to share with you all, her dad is going into hospice care. And her dad used to be the Peoples State Forest Ranger. So she's pretty scattered right now with family commitments. So, but she did have a great program last night for Community Citizen of the Year. But again, just to remind you of our programs, the Honoring Our Elders program, it used to be called Should Old Acquaintance. And this is basically visiting some type of facility for folks that need care at least 4 times during the year. We have the Complete program, and we're hoping that the subject this year will be the impact of women on Grange. And again, just send me the materials on that and for that. I know the Amanda Brisano Rios had a program recently on women at national level of Grange, but if there's something we can do here in Connecticut, that would be great. We talked about the photo contest. The letter writing project, again, writing to service folks overseas and just letting us know, sending packages. And again, when you report any of these activities, it could just be an email to me telling me what you did. This is one that National Grange, this is Bob, what I was talking about with Tom Gwynn the other night, because they're actually highlighting a Connecticut State Grange, subordinate Grange program, but initiating a new program, coming up with something that is different, and sharing that with others so other Granges might see what you are doing. Those are activities. And then just other things, you know, the ritual program, the National Grange Heirloom program, which I hope a lot of you are doing. I know at my home Grange of Riverton, we do heirloom near the beginning of the program. And we ask whichever position has the saying that month to do the that part of heirloom. So these are the programs. And so here's the criteria. And just for the basic program, just submit a report to me. And for the honors program, you have to participate in at least 3 of these contests or programs, and let us know what you're doing. I have been amazed at the increase in Grange reporting this year, which is great. I don't know, Terry, if it's because it's online or what, but I still get a lot in the mail. But it's just great to see that Granges are participating in what they are doing. I did get a suggestion that people would like me to share some of this, and at some point, Terry, when you get a moment, maybe we can chat about that and how
Sure.
we could better share some of this information. And again, this is one of the things at the lecturers conference we want to talk about, is how can we share stuff with other folks, so that not everybody has to keep.
We can like spotlight a contest every once in a while on Facebook.
Yep. Or even that great
do that.
email
We can send it out in a
you,
mass email. I mean,
Yep,
there's all sorts of stuff we can do.
yeah, the email that you send out there would be great too. So anyways, all right, let me go back here.
Yeah,
So
Dave, your predecessor used to have a quarterly newsletter, but because of technology nowadays, it's a lot easier with most people to put something online.
yes, yes. And quite frankly, an example is last night. I think what Sue does at North Stonington, I was sharing, not everybody was here at first. She had about 70 to 80 people in that hall. 38 were guests last night, and then there were some Grangers and some elected officials, but it was amazing. They select their community citizen of the year. They had a nice plaque that they had asked state officers. This is the third year I've gone and done that. And then they do a skit of that person's kind of life. So she had actually drafted a 5-act play about this. The winner last night was Charles M. Smith III, 88 years old. And I think he was really overwhelmed, and a large number of his siblings, his kids, his stepkids, his grandkids, all were there. And I think that's part of why they had such a large showing. But then after that, they did their membership recognition for length of service. And the highest category last night that was there was 60 years of service, but they actually had a 75-year person, but he was out of town. And so they did that, and it was just great. And one of the interesting things was some of the guests were asking me, like, what does P of H mean on that blue cloth on that box in the middle of the room holding the Bible? And so, I mean, it was interesting that you sometimes, don't stop and think about explaining things. And on their Grange Hall, they have the 7 original founders on a big picture on the wall, and so you could point at that. So, but it was just nice. And again, that's a program. I know Riverton Grange has started that program 3 years ago, and it has proved very successful. So we asked for community nominations. North Stonington does it internally in their Grange, that they ask people for nominations, and they don't have to be a Granger. They can be a Granger. At Riverton, we don't do Grangers, we do outside people. And so one year we had the American Legion commander, and then next thing we know, he and his wife joined our Grange. The year before that, we had the first selectman. So it's just a nice program. So anyways. All right, this is your chance to talk. I've done all of the talking, so I want to hear from other folks about anything that's going on, successes, challenges, concerns. This is your opportunity. All right, Ramona, what's going on in Winchester?
Oh, that's just Meg.
Oh, I'm doing the program for Tuesday night.
Oh, wow. What's
And
it
I
gonna
won't
be
be
on?
there to even, well, I won't be there, period. But I won't even be on Zoom because I have an appointment, a doctor's appointment on Tuesday afternoon. So she's going to have to present it. But
What's your program on?
Winchester history.
Oh, wow.
So the history of Winchester Grange.
I was looking why I'm not there. I chair conservation that night. Because I've been trying to get up to Winchester. So, but one of these days I will, because they meet twice a month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Second and fourth.
But I think they conflict with a standing meeting I have. Diane, anything you want to share? You're muted if you're there.
Yeah, I'm right here.
There you are.
Yes. We're still active. And I guess Amy Monahan does the programs. And we don't have a whole lot of members there, but we share her interests and her little crafts. So I think we're getting along fine. And we do a lot of suppers so that we can get the community people involved. So I think we're doing okay.
Oh, that's great. I know Granby Grange recently had their duck race, and we appreciate all that supported that. This was our second annual rubber duck race down the Salmon Brook, and it really worked well this year. And so we were glad with that. And I know Granby had their Mother's Day flower sale today over at their Grange Hall. So and then let's see, I think Eileen is here. I think she's joining us.
Yeah, it looks like her. Oops.
There she is. Hey, Eileen.
We got her forehead.
Yep, she's muted. So Eileen,
There we go.
there
Hi
you
there.
are with Wallingford. How's Wallingford doing?
We're doing okay.
Good. How's all your renovation work going there?
Oh, that's a forever project. I got to start doing windows again. I've got a few people though who I can teach how to teach how. So it's just a matter of getting everybody together, and then taking apart windows and putting them back together.
Wow.
I think, convinced a few people with the help of Cronenberger and Sons to appreciate that old windows can be almost as efficient as brand new like triple thermal panes. So,
Very good.
so hopefully I can get people to appreciate that we don't need, new windows. We can make our old windows weather tight and efficient.
That's great.
And not for nothing, the walls are not insulated, so we lose so much heat through the windows. We lose heat everywhere.
And your pancake breakfast have gone well?
Yeah, it was we still make money, but it was a little slow today. But I think because, Mother's Day, people have plans for tomorrow, or there's a bunch of other things going on in town today. So, it was slower than we've had, but it
Okay,
wasn't bad.
good.
Next month is
Anybody
going to be
else?
strawberry.
Oh, anybody else have anything to share?
Joanne just sent me a message saying she's having a microphone problem. That's why she's not saying anything.
Ah,
They're having an open meeting honoring Animals for Life as their Citizen of the Year coming up.
oh, excellent. They had me come last year, I think, to that ceremony. Is that right? Yeah. If you want me to come, let me know. I'll see if I can work it into the schedule. So I enjoyed that since I showed up at her house last year. That was the address that was on the thing. But I learned, didn't I? Yes.
Did that will probably put you to work.
Yes, yes. So anyways, well, good. Well, again, the whole point of these roundups about every 3 months is to share information, to learn what's new. Eileen, one thing that I was talking about that your Grange may want to participate in, I know Connecticut State Grange and 2 subordinate Granges have already qualified for incentive payments through the Reaching Rural Surgical Senior Program. And both Riverton and Granby have pledged that $100 each is going to go to their lecturers department for lecturer programs. So, because it's kind of like found money if the lecturers are the ones that are coordinating it. So, I just want to mention that to you. And
If anybody needs the information on all of that, I already have it in a zip file that I can just send to anybody who wants it. It's a
Send that
lot of
over.
information, so the zip file will come to you via WeTransfer because it's a really big zip file because it's got videos and stuff. But there's
Oh, cool.
all sorts of information in it that can be used.
And
So
Eileen, if
wants
at
it.
any time you just need somebody to walk you through it, because you only have to do like 3 things. And I thought you had to report twice. She said if you do all 3 and you're reporting on the first form, which is this month, you can qualify. And she sends you a note that you qualified. And so Connecticut State Grange was the first state Grange to qualify. And then Granby and Riverton were the first 2 subordinate Granges to qualify. but up to 250 subordinate Granges can get that incentive payment. And I know our Granges, every little bit helps. So and just one other thing I was going to mention for our Grange Hall, which is interesting, we're now partnering. The old Hitchcock Chair Factory is now a 3-story craft mall. And we've been doing Maker Sunday, and I know Wallingford loves the idea, so they're doing Maker Monday. But we are going to be allowing vendors to use our hall. They are going to do all the rentals, and we get 100% of the profit. So we're excited about that. So we're attempting our first one in July to see how it goes, because since we stopped doing dinners because of the pandemic, we've never gotten back into doing dinners. And then when the fire marshal came to visit my home Grange, we'd have to do some changes. So we decided to look at other options to make money to keep the Grange operating. And so this is one of them now, doing vendor spaces in conjunction with other events in the village of Riverton. Noel, we got through the legislative year, right?
Yeah, they did. We're still working on the handbook. It should be going to print pretty soon for the Granges. We
Okay.
fell back a little on it, but also I had a computer problem. It took 2 months to get my computer, and right now I'm finishing up the rest to go to print.
Okay,
So the pink book should be out.
good. And then the final thing, again, this month I had asked Todd to use my space in the Granger newsletter for a paper copy of the registration form for the Northeastern lecturer. So I hope you'll share that with other people. We've been trying to make sure everybody sees that, but a lot of people still like the paper version of it. And again, if you don't want to come for the whole weekend, but it should be a really nice weekend. It'll be great to, I think, get back together again. And it's for anybody in Grange or any guests that want to learn. So I encourage you to participate. Okay. Well, great. Well, if there's nothing else, we will call this, and we'll see you in 2 to 3 months for our next one. And before we go off to our state convention, but I want to thank everybody that joined us tonight, and hopefully, if there's anything I can do as your state Grange lecturer, please don't hesitate to call on me. I love to come visit. I know Ted Powell's been out visiting many, if not all, of the Granges. He keeps me posted on his travels, and but it's great to see folks when we bump into each other. Okay. All right. You all have a great evening now. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms tomorrow.
Good night.
All right. Good night.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.